As we've said before, Mark Henkel joined Toastmasters just 2.5 years ago. He has achieved numerous things in a very short time. Here's a short list. Mark is the Area 6 Governor. He's the club coach for Running Hill Toastmasters, and Advanced Communicator Gold, Advanced Leader Bronze ×3. He's the current District 45 Outstanding Toastmaster of the Year. For both years, 2010, 2011, and the Toastmaster year 11 and 12, he received the District 45 Award for sponsoring 5 more members. And just this year, Mark sponsored a whopping, anyone want to guess? 18. Very good. We're doing that by sponsoring more than anyone else in all of District 45 you've received. Anyone know what the name of the award is?
Mark Henkel.
Yeah. Alan E. Seavey Award. With so much sponsoring success, it is easy to see why Mark is giving the presentation on the closer. How did Mark sponsor so many new members? He says he does it with a 5-step process that he developed, which he says that any of us can just as easily apply. Mark will now be explaining his process for us here today, so please give me a warm welcome of applause for Mark Henkel as he presents the closer. 5-step process for guiding guests to becoming members.
This is how to be a closer. It's the 5-step process for how to guide guests into becoming members. And it really is a very simple and easy system that anybody can do. It doesn't have to be an only Mark Henkel thing. Every single person here can apply this, and I hope you will. So let's enjoy the ride as we go through this. Yes, I've received some awards going through that, and this is awards that you can do as well. And the Alan E. Seavey Award, as was just announced. These are awards available to us as we seek to accomplish things. But these awards, who's going to be the next Alan E. Seavey Award? Let's have it be another person from our division. Any of us can do this. But before we begin, we've got to talk about 3 things. We've got to talk about approaches to guests, to believe and have no fear, and that there are no real obstacles. Before we go into the system, it's important to explain some things. I have heard these approaches used in more than one club, and I want to be very clear. I've heard it in more than one club, so if anybody thinks that I'm calling you out, I promise you I'm not, because this is something I've heard these approaches be used in many different clubs. And one of them is, I hope you will visit us again. I hope you will. That won't work. The reason it won't work is for 2 reasons. 1, hope is not a strategy. And 2, the guest really doesn't care what you hope. You don't have a personal relationship with you. They don't. They care about why they came and if it's going to work for them. It's the what's in it for me thought. That's where the guest is. They really don't care what we hope they'll do. They want to know what's in it for them. And to just simply sit back and you're not going to do more than just say, I hope you'll visit us, that's really not going to work. You might get 1 person out of 30 that does, but then you've lost the other 29 because you actually didn't go through a process to actually help close and help them become a member. Another approach I've heard as well is, check out other clubs and then decide. Wait a minute. Let's think what this guest has done. This guest has thought about what Toastmasters is. They go to Toastmasters, they search the internet, they find Toastmasters.org, they find the select a club, they put in their zip code, they click a button, they find a bunch of clubs, they chose your club. They saw your calendar. They saw the time. They made time in their life to be at your club. Respect them. That's why they came to you. Now, there is an appropriate time to recommend other clubs, and I will address that later on. But in terms of an actual strategy, I know that the heart and kindness of doing such is meant to be good. It's like to say, we're not here to pressure sell you, because we're not. But the point is to use that as a strategy, it does not work. Keep visiting us as long as you like. That's another approach. I've seen this happen, and we end up with the perpetual guest. Wait a minute, we're not here to entertain visitors. We're here to help where leaders are made. And leaders make decisions. And someone needs to make a decision. So while it is an open possibility that they can keep coming, we don't want to use that as a recommendation as if that hope is a strategy. The reality is we want to take a definitive action to help them go from being guest to being member. And that's what we're going to be talking about. But all of this comes to a level of where we are in our confidence. And really we need to believe. Yes, it's true. We don't really have to pressure sell people to become Toastmasters. But believe. Believe in yourself and what you're doing as a Toastmaster. Believe in Toastmasters. The meeting sells what you have to offer. You don't have to worry about being oh no, I'm not a good salesman. You don't have to be a good salesman or saleswoman. Believe in the guest. I have an expectation. If they showed up, I expect they want to join. Now, of course, we all know they don't. Not everybody does join. But until they make the decision to not join, as far as I'm concerned, I'm talking to them like an adult. And that adult made the decision to come to our meeting. I'm expecting, not where the pushing is, but just as a respectfulness as one adult to another, that this is what they want to do. And I'm just merely here to help facilitate the process from them going from guest to member. Because hey, if they're there, they're thinking about it. We're not high-selling them. This is not about persuading guests to become members. There is no persuading. So it's not about persuading or selling. And also, there are no real obstacles. If these actually become obstacles that can't be overcome, then really they're just excuses. Excuses that they use to decide to not become a member. Oh well, there's a line I've heard said, some will, some won't, so what? Next. Just move on. Treat all adults as adults, because really that's what it is. An adult making a decision. So these aren't obstacles to worry, oh, I'm not successful in overcoming obstacles. These particular ones, if someone says to you, I'm too nervous or shy to join Toastmasters. Hello? That's what we're here for. To help people overcome their nervousness and shyness in a public environment. If they can't overcome that, that's just their excuse to not join. So what? Next. Don't worry about it. All you can do is be an adult to an adult, and they'll make their decisions. If that's an obstacle that they can't overcome, then that's their excuse. Don't worry about it. Another one is, I can't afford this. First thing I point out is, most clubs are what, 36 plus 12, was it $48 every 6 months most of us are at? So that's less than $100 a year. Someone can get what would cost them thousands of dollars for a 6 to 13 week course in certain public speaking courses that are out there. And they can get that for less than $100 a year. Now my thought process is this. If they genuinely can't afford it, then they've got to solve that problem first. That's their issue. They're adults. I treat everybody as an adult. And some people may genuinely be in that, and my heart goes out to people in that kind of circumstance. But if $100 a year is too much for them, then that's another issue. I'm not going to worry about it too badly. I'm not going to cry over a spilled milk issue. That is not an obstacle, because that's the excuse they're making, or if they're really in that circumstance, they've got to solve their financial problems. And unfortunately, we're not here in the financial advising business. Another one is, I don't have time. Now this is the one legitimate moment when it's appropriate to say, well, you know what, maybe the nights we meet is not good for you. But there is another club that meets on the first and third Mondays. Maybe that would be a more appropriate time. This is when it's appropriate to maybe consider recommending another club to them, because then it's a timing issue. Their schedule, they can't make your meeting regularly. Then it's a valid point. But if they still can't do it, well, then that's the excuse they're making to not join. Next. Just don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. The point is that you do not need to stress over this. We're not trying to persuade people. We're giving people the choices to achieve their goals. That's all we're doing. So with these things understood, we're now ready to look at the 5-step process to be a closer. Now before I begin, you're going to see two things. You're going to see a list of 5 and a list of 3. And I don't want you to get confused between, well, what's 5 and what's 3? We're going to have 5 steps that get implemented through a process of 3 timings. That's what it is. So we're going to have 5 steps through 3 timing events that happen of how we go through these objectives. And it's your steps are your objectives, what you want to achieve. And the 5 steps, this is what you're going to want to write down. This is what you're going to want to memorize. These 5 steps. What we want to do is welcome, connect, investigate, incentivize, and close. These are the 5 steps that help a person go from being a guest to becoming a member. These 5 steps. Now I've taken a moment to let you write those down, but now what I do is I want to backtrack one more time and have you say them out loud so that it really makes it real. These are the critical 5 things. If you get nothing else from this, I want you to get these 5 steps. So let's try this. When you see it show up on the screen, let's everybody all at once say it. So when you see it, say it. Welcome, connect, investigate, incentivize, close. These are your 5 objectives. These are the 5 steps you want to step-by-step process through helping the guest become a member. Now these are going to take place through 3 timings, the when and where. And the timings is the first meeting as a guest, then through emails, that's where the magic happens, and then the next meeting to join. These are our 3 timings when these 5 steps are going to be implemented. So it's important to understand. So we're going to go through the 3 timings, and then you'll see the 5 steps within those timings. So to put them together so you can see how it's working, the timings and objectives come together, and the first meeting as a guest, our one and only objective is to make them feel welcome. It's the welcome objective, the first objective. Then the second timing is the emails. And we're going to achieve the second, third, and fourth objectives, which are to connect, investigate, and incentivize. And then finally, we come to the third timing, which is they come to the next meeting 15 minutes early to join. And that our objective there is the close. So these are our timings, and these are the 5 steps, the 5 objectives that we seek to achieve through these 3 timings. So as we go through it, now you get a broad picture of what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. So let's look at first the first meeting as a guest. And our only objective is objective 1, welcome. Our job at that first meeting, a guest arrives, is to make them feel welcome. And we don't just be friendly at the beginning, at the end of the meeting. We have a process. There are things that you actually should do at the meeting. First, after the opening of the meeting, you ask the guest their name and what brought them to the meeting. Right off the bat, this makes the guests feel welcome. They're not some intruder coming in on somebody else's meeting. Automatically, they feel embraced, welcome to be there, and asked to have an opinion about what brought them there. Then, here's something. This is some magic here. The table topics master, when asked to get up by the general evaluator to describe their role, explains, I will be giving a question to 1 or 2 members. First, what did I say? First, I said, first. The reason I am doing that is to make sure you understand. You let members give examples before you ask a guest to do a table topic. So the table topics master explains, I will first ask a couple of our members to do a table topics. And then, dear guest, you're invited to participate and do one if you want. If you don't, that's okay. But I want you to know you're welcome to participate. Notice the word welcome. So now we've got a second point. We've let the guests feel welcome and known they're thinking, oh, I might be able to do something in this meeting. Then later on, the meeting proceeds, the table topics occurs, and the table topics master does exactly that. They first ask a member or 2 to give an example of doing a table topics. You don't call your guests first. It just makes sense. But I've seen that happen. That's a critical mistake. Do not do that. Let the guests see an example of what a table topic is. That'll give them more confidence. Then after they've seen 1 or 2 members, ask the guests, would you like to participate? Now either they will or they won't. Make note of what they do. If they do participate, take notes of what they actually said. We're going to use that later. But if they don't, That's okay too. And let the table topics master assure me it's certainly fine. No worries. We just wanted to give you that opportunity. This guest has totally been made to feel welcome. Then before the meeting adjourns, again, you ask the guest their thoughts about the meeting, telling them their opinion matters. They're welcome about it. And this is the very critical question, ending with a question. Is it okay if we send you an email in the next 24 hours? One, we're getting permissions. We're saying we respect you. We're not going to spam you. And we're going to follow up in 24 hours. We're going to strike while the fire's hot. We're taking you seriously. You took your time to come visit us. We're going to take you seriously, and we're going to respond in 24 hours. And then the guest says either yes or no. Sometimes they might be polite about it if they're saying no. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're getting an opportunity to engage with them. And that opens the door to the next timing and the next objective. So now we're going to move to the second timing, which is the emails. All the magic happens in the emails. So every single person here, it doesn't matter who you are, if you've got issues or you're concerned about your personality or how you look or whatever self-esteem issues you have about yourself, the emails do the magic. So you don't even have to worry about it. Anybody can do this. Anybody. Within 24 hours, you send them an email. And what you are doing is connect with them to engage. You want to see if they will engage. The first thing I will say is, first I let them know it's from Toastmasters. I will say, it was great seeing you at the club, Toastmasters Club last time. And I'll say the name. So right off the bat, at least it's an introduction. They know what this email is for and why they're getting it from some name they don't know. Especially if your email address doesn't come from a clubdomain.com name. They'll wonder who this is. And then after I've said, it was good seeing you at the meeting last night, I immediately seek to connect with them. I comment on their table topics. If they had given a table topics, I'll say, it was great seeing your table topics. I agree or disagree or whatever, not so much disagree, but I find a way to applaud what they did. And then I add, especially for me personally, as they will tend to see me as someone who is capable of speaking, I'll say to them, because this is a fact, when I was first guest, I would not do a table topics. That creates an emotional bond right off the bat with them. They're thinking, oh my gosh, even he wouldn't do a table topics, and I did, and I'm praising them. Awesome! I always give kudos to anybody who will step up and do a table topics as a guest the first time, because I wouldn't do it. So I think that's just awesome. So I've made that connection. But you say, well, what if they didn't? Well, then I still connect with them. I say, well, you know what? That's about the table topics. I wouldn't do it either. See, I still get to say it either way. I let them know it's okay. But I'm making that human connection. Connecting with them. So now that they're, okay, I want to hear more of what's going to be in this email. I've made that personal bond connection with them. And then because remember, as I said, I have an expectation that all I'm doing is facilitating them to become a guest. I expect that they're going to want to come to the next meeting. So I say, our next meeting will be on this meeting night, the date, and what I'll do is I'll specifically list out the date, the day, time, and date of the next meeting, and then when meetings, we meet on the 2nd and 4th, such and such night a week of the month, and then I will actually post the link to the calendar page of our website early, so that way, right there, they'll have that email as a record to always find the calendar. If they ever forget when a meeting is going to take place, they can get to the calendar. So I've given them that right off the bat. And then we're ready to investigate. I ask a question. I want this email to end with a question. Because a question is like a fishing hook. I want to see if they're biting the bait, because if they're going to engage with me or not. And I ask them what their goals are. Now, if I followed up at the end of the meeting and we went into a deep conversation and I asked what their goals were then, they said, well, you can't ask it again because then you're just being duplicative at that point. Then I just simply say, well, what's the timeline for their goals? The bottom line is that I need to find out if they're willing to connect and engage with me, and 2, I'm going to give them the solution to what they give me for an answer. So I'm looking to see if they're going to respond. That's why this is ending with this asking a question. Please tell me what your goals are. The better I understand what you have for goals for your life, the better I can figure out or help you see ways that Toastmasters can help you achieve them. I let them understand this is why I'm trying to find out what their goals are. And if they will email me back, I got them. They want it. They're engaging that conversation. I'm not leaving this with a, I hope. I'm not leaving this with a declarative statement. I'm leaving this with a, I want you to email me back if you're serious. And so, if they've connected and if they've done that, they send me an email back. And if they engage, they're telling me they want this. Now, if they don't go into goals, whatever, then the key is to continue that cycle of investigate, ask, until they're ready to start looking at going forward. It becomes a loop, a circular loop of investigate, ask if it has to. But most often what will happen is they don't want to continue, they won't even email you back. Now, if I send off one email and they haven't gotten back to me at all, no email at all, I will send one email again 1 week later saying, I sent this to you a week ago, I don't know if you got it, did you or did you not? And that's it. I will not do anymore. I am not going to beg. I'm not going to plead. I'm just allowing for the possibility that technology might not have delivered my email to them. That's it. But if they engage, they want this. So I connect again. I affirm and I praise their goals because they've given me an answer. They've told me what their goals are. I show them the answer. I show them how Toastmasters will help them achieve their goals. They took the bait. They took it. They want it. And now I'm going to give them the solution. Because all of this is about showing them that this is in it for them. They have their goals. What goals do they want to achieve? Toastmasters can help them. So I find a way and show them how Toastmasters will help them achieve their goals. And then that same level of expectation, like I gave an item of expectation about the dates in the last email, in this one I give an expectation about the rates. I will explain. And I found every single person loves the fact that I was so upfront about this right from the beginning. I explained that we have 6-month terms, and it goes from April 1st and again on October 1st. And then I'll even write out a math. I'll say, and if you're interested in joining, it's going to be a $20 member kit, one-time only fee, and then I'll say, then I'll do the next line of a math sum, and I'll say $18, and I'll say $6 times 3 months of January, February, March for Toastmasters International, and then I'll write another $6, show 3 months times $2 for January, February, March, and then Summit, say $44, payable to our Toastmasters Club's name. And I'll actually write that out. I said, if they're interested. I'm just putting that out there as data, because now, and I'll say that understand that as of March 1st, another $48 will do. So that way you don't have somebody who's joining in February and says, oh my gosh, you're expecting another 48 from me? And they didn't know that was coming? They appreciate getting the facts straight up front. I don't go into apologies. I just simply lay it out as facts. And then I go for another investigate ask. It's the pre-close ask now at this point. And that is I ask, do you want to start right away? What's the time that you want to achieve these goals? Do they want to start right away, or do they have other questions? And again, depending on how they reply, if it continues to seek, then it becomes a re-loop of investigate, ask, find the answers, give them an answer, and then ask again, when do they want to get started? It becomes a circular loop. But if they continue to just say, yeah, I want to get started right away, or they're interested in getting started, then it's time to go for the close. See, all of these asking questions is to find out what they're thinking. You can't know what they're thinking, so you ask them what they're thinking. But you need to know what those answers that they're going to say are, so that's why you ask them. And you ask them because you want them to engage with you, because if they stop talking to you, you've lost your opportunity. So if they say yes, you go for the close. And again, you connect, you get excited for their goals. Remember, they're not in it for you, they're in it for them. So be excited about that they're going to achieve their particular goals that they've listed off. Reaffirm Toastmasters will definitely help you achieve those particular goals that you have yourself. And then incentivize. I do the go for a close ask. If you will need me 15 minutes before the next meeting, if they will bring a check for the exact amount, like I'll say, for that amount we discussed, $44, payable to this particular club name, I'm very specific. I'm not apologetic. If you'll meet me there, if you bring that, I'll come with an application that's already filled out except for your name, address, phone number, and signature. and now actually printed out on a computer, so it really is all just computerized print. It looks real professional for them, and all they got to do is hand print the rest of it. And I'll also come with a special packet. Toastmasters and you, for example, or depending on the particular discussions I've had with them, I'll cater what I will actually bring. But I'm going to bring something to that meeting. I'll even bring the icebreaker. Now, they don't know. You can go to Toastmasters.org and get the icebreaker download free for anybody. But they don't know that. I say to them, I'm going to bring the icebreaker. If you do this, we'll be able to get you started right away. You come with the check, we'll have the application for you, already filled out for you, except for your final parts. I'll have the application, we'll have the special package, so that you can go home with this information. You'll be going home with something that night. And if we do this before the meeting, we can even vote you in that night. And we vote you in and induct you, you can even then come to the next meeting and give your icebreaker. Some people are excited to be able to give their icebreaker that quick. Not everybody, but the point is that they're given that opportunity to know they have an option. So now they know this is what is available to them. So I ask them, if I meet you 15 minutes before and you come with a check payable to our club for this amount, payable to our club name, I'll bring all this. Would you like to do that? Again, by asking a question, that requires them to reply again if they're going to continue. If they don't continue, well, then they're done, and that's okay. So that brings us to email 4, which is a very friendly, brief, and easy one. If they say yes, confirm it. I'll just say some superlative. Super! Fantastic! Outstanding! And then I'll say a positive confirmation. I look forward to seeing you then. And I look forward to seeing you achieve your goals. Because I want to make sure it's ending on the fact that I'm still focused on what's in it for them. Because even if you just say, I look forward to seeing you then, as good and polite that is, it's still all about you. They're not interested in all about you. They're interested in about them. So they're more excited to know you're excited about them. So that's what I'll leave them in. So that brings us now to the third timing, which is the next meeting. They show up 15 minutes before. And that's the close. The guest comes with their check. They arrive 15 minutes before the meeting. They come with the check payable to the club's name and the exact dollar amount. And you bring the mostly completed application, that icebreaker assignment printed out, a Toastmasters and you packet, or whatever variation you choose to give them. And after the close, you give the check to the treasurer, give the application to the VP of membership, notify the president. The president can then have an offer for a vote and then an induction, and that person can be a member that particular night. So let's summarize this. This is the 5-step process on how to be a closer. And we first saw them all together, and that is the first meeting as a guest, we do step 1. We welcome them. We make them feel welcome. In the second timing, all the magic is done in the emails. Any one of us can do this. And that is objectives 2, 3, and 4. We connect with them, we investigate, and then we incentivize, which leads us to the next meeting, where they come to close. And that's what our objective is, to close. So, again, we've looked at, we know the 3 parts of our timing is when is the first meeting as a guest, the emails, and then we close them. And then finally, let's do our 5 steps again. When you see this on the screen, please say it out loud, because this is the 5 steps you want to have. Welcome, connect, investigate, incentivize, and close. These are the 5 steps to being a closer. You can be the next person to receive the LNECV award. Or why not have every single person in here receiving the award for sponsoring 5 or more? All of us can do that. Let's rock in Division B. I see a question.
If they make out their application on the night that you vote and induct them in, do you never do the first and second readings like most clubs do?
First and second readings.
Readings of their application so that the members are aware of the person and before they vote.
I think you're the only one.
Nobody here does that?
No.
We do. So when they-
That would be something you would need to incorporate within your process of closing with this 5-step process. This is about closing. That situation that you may choose that.
But we do. I mean,
Okay.
we're not having any issues with that. I just thought it was mandatory to at least do one so that the membership has a chance. I mean, it's mostly a formality to vote someone in, but there are times when you're going to want not to vote someone in if there's an issue, and that's what the reading is for. So, I was just curious. Does nobody else?
I think that would be a discussion based on membership issues for that. This is about closing. And that was the purpose of this particular presentation. So again, this is how to be a closer. If you want to close at another time, at another location, that's an option that you can choose for your particular club. The purpose of this is not to have to consume your time meeting them elsewhere, so that you could just meet them 15 minutes before the meeting. And so any of us can do these things. And that's it. Thank you.